Yes, BTC is still playing this game with us, just sitting around at this nice little resistance area. And we were hoping, well, I was hoping for a nice green weekend. What did they do? They actually bled us out on Saturday, and then they pumped this stuff on Sunday. And the AI tokens have been leading the charge with DRT, render, and these type of things pumping. And today I'm going to talk to you about a potential altcoin season, even a mini one. Is that happening? I'm going to show you a couple of tweets and a couple of reasons why we could be getting a big move there. And then we are obviously looking at these AI tokens. We're looking at NVIDIA. Then we're looking at things like Solana, AVAX, 𝗬𝗥𝗘𝗏, which is pumping all-time highs. I've got a GMX for you, and I've got FRAX. So we got so much to talk about, guys. Let's get right into this. Ian likes my shirt. Yeah, it feels like I'm going to a wedding or a job interview, one of these things. Anyway, lovely to wear a collared shirt for a change. I'm feeling all business. Looking at banter bubbles here. Look at this. GRT pumping, AI tokens, WLD killing it, fetch. That whole AI narrative is taken off. We got NVIDIA earnings coming on Wednesday. Are they pumping into these NVIDIA earnings? Is that something that we're going to fade by Wednesday, or is this narrative going to continue? So we're going to talk about that a little bit as well. So let's just take a look at what they did to us this weekend, how they made us suffer on some of these altcoins, and they didn't give us our moves we wanted. So this is BTC on the 8 hour, and what did they do this weekend? They played proper games with us. They started bleeding us down on Saturday into a nice little dip, and these altcoins were feeling the pressure. Let me actually know, those of you in the chats, who was feeling the heat there, because I was looking at some of my tokens thinking we were going to potentially get a weekend dump there, like a proper size dump. And fortunately, they started reversing later on Sunday. So right now, what am I watching here? BTC, this is a big resistance area, and we are happy with BTC sitting in a little range here. It can do this all day long for us and start unleashing these alts, and you can see these AI tokens are now responding. We've got the storage tokens, Filecoin, 𝗬𝗢𝗡, those sort of things also starting to respond. ETH has been so strong, MATIC as well, and it's all based on BTC just keeping calm here and giving these altcoins some room to breathe. So what do we want? Ideally, we just want a nice little range here on BTC. If we do have to sweat out further, again, the big level for me, 49,450. This is a huge area for us. We don't really want to lose that. And you can see this is the fun line that we got over here, this rising trend. This is the action line. This is the fun line. This is the happiness zone. So what can we do? We can range until we get to this trend line. Then we can see what happens. This could take a couple of days, and this could really unleash some of these altcoins for us. So downside targets, watching 49,450. That is the main one. If we have to push it lower, 47,400. Don't feel like that just yet. And then higher up, we've got one target in line here. This is a 786 fib. It's the 57,500 region. It's a 786 fib. There's a little bit of weekly confluence in this area. So if we're going to pump higher for BTC, that is my upside. That is where I'm looking for a potential rejection in that zone. That 57, call it 57,300. That sort of area is where we're potentially looking for our next rejection. Right, let's see what is going on here in the news at the moment. And, so much bullish stuff happening here. We've got on-chain data revealing 69% of Bitcoin holders have held positions for more than a year. Now, at some point, these guys are going to want to come and take some profits. Now, are they going to take profits before we get an alt season? Or are they going to let us have a little bit of fun first? Ray, what are you thinking there? Sending us to zero first.
I mean, I think we could have a small correction to wipe out some longs. There you go. The funding rate is high.
So we're gonna talk some altcoin season. Thanks, Ray. We're gonna talk some altcoin season things here. And my view is that we've got a lot of late longers coming in, and often to see a trigger of a proper alt move, we need some kind of flush out. And we have a big level, we have a big amount of longs coming in. So we just need to understand that we might need a little flush first, but Rec Capital, nice little graph here that he's put together, and he's basically telling us we are at the bottom of this altcoin hype cycle. So he's super bullish on some kind of alt pump in the near future. And if you read his tweet here, he's actually a great account to follow if you're not following already. But he's basically telling you the story that FET and Ocean now are leading perhaps a little rally coming for these altcoins. And we're at the bottom of the cycle. So according to this chart here, we could have a good couple of months here leading into April. So we could be unlocking some action. And then I've got Mustache. He says, Crypto Professor. And he's talking altcoins. He's saying, why is he so bullish for altcoins in 2024? And he's pulled out a chart, ETH BTC. It's a log chart. So I've now copied his chart for you guys. And just to explain what he's done here, this is a log chart. It's not a normal analog chart. You won't find this rising trend on a regular chart that you find on TradingView. This is an analog chart. But what he's telling us here is every time we have come down to test this trend line, we have had some kind of big altcoin move on the ETH BTC pair. So right now, this ETH BTC is sitting in a very hot zone here for us, and looks like we are imminent. And things are getting very close to some kind of big bounce here for ETH BTC. And it's also, other than the trend, it's backed up by some big horizontals here at the 0.048 region. So a little bit of bull source there for you guys, and maybe some hot action coming. Let's see the crew. Let's see who's here. Who's hanging out with us here today? Ayo for Yayo. That's a difficult one to say. He's loving CAS. Well, yeah, we had a little CAS sculpt today in Sniper Club. So some of us got that. I'm going to talk to you about that CAS chart. Crypto Theme says HBAR is finally going nuts. You know, it's always when you stop watching these tokens that they really start just popping up here. Let's see what else we got here. Old Joe says, Dill popping the chest out, go boy. Ray, I don't know if he's liking my top there. Inferns here from London. What else we got? We got questions on 𝗧𝗢𝗢. We got questions on Mavia. Let's see what else. 𝗦𝗚𝗚𝗡𝗦 says, take us to Valhalla, guys. I want to take you to Valhalla. Ant's loving this as well. Ant, are you loving my shirt too? Let's see what else we got. David Broomberg says, NVIDIA, Uncle Dill. Okay, I'll remember that, Dave. Thanks for the update on pronunciations here. Let's see. James says he got stopped on a couple of trades. Yeah, so this weekend was sweaty time. And again, another lesson. When things are turning bullish, you can easily get rinsed in a bull market. You can get rinsed when the candles are green, and you're sitting back thinking, I should be making money, and why not? And the guys next to me are flashing P&Ls on Twitter, and then you start aping and you ramp up that leverage too much, and then they come for you on the weekend and they make you sweat it out, and then Sunday night it's green again, and you're thinking, jeez, I could have played that differently. And again, just another lesson. Always in a bull market, you need to know you can get rinsed here. So what are the main steps? Number one, no FOMO. Try to avoid FOMO as much as possible. And number two, always have some cash available for these little sell-offs, because often, on a weekend, we can come down and ping these good areas and give you entries. You don't want to always be 100% allocated, especially in your trading accounts, guys. You can really get smashed there, and then you miss out on good opportunities. Okay, let's look at, what do we got here? I've got BTC dominance. Okay, so this was a big one for us. So remember, alt season for us, we want to see this dominance dropping. We want to see ETH BTC taking off and moving for us. And this was a good start. And you can see these AI tokens have responded. We've seen major ETH strength. And this was just this tiny little dominant sniff that they've given us. Now, can you imagine what's going to happen with these altcoins when we get a move down into this weekly region? So that is why we're thinking this could be imminent as well. So again, a Bitcoin dominance, big level to watch, 51%. That's what we want to see. We want to see this push down. We're going to deal with it when we hit this horizontal again. We're going to assess where we are with some of these altcoins, and we're going to decide then, if we get to that area, how are we going to take profits or how are we going to play it. But big zone for me now. We just want to see this dominance continually drift lower now to this region. We've got our rejection now. I don't really want to get pushed back up here again for another test, because I feel that might be a little bit of BTC downside for us, and that could right now we are trending down now on the weekly, and let's see how this plays out. But remember, the deeper this goes, the better this is for us alt traders. Okay, another very interesting thing that I've got for you guys is the total market cap. I've got total 1, which is the entire crypto market cap. Then we've got total 2, which is the market cap excluding BTC. And then total 3 is the market cap excluding BTC and ETH. And just something interesting here. Total market cap has blown the 618 pool from early April. When was this? 2022. We've blown that 618. And to me, that's telling me that the total 2 is obviously lagging a little bit, and we still got a little bit of room to breathe here until we hit the 618. That is telling me total 2. Now remember, this is the market excluding BTC. We could still easily push up into the 618 region. So there is a lot of room here for breathing. And total 3, same story. We are lagging the 618, and no reason right now why we won't just continue trending up here to ping the 618 and just make sure everyone is aligned here and everyone is pinging these 618. So some nice bullish source here for you guys, especially for the alt traders. And yeah, guys, let me know in the chats here who's trading what. Who got some of these AI tokens? Did anyone get WLD? Because I didn't get WLD. I'm feeling incredibly salty about this WorldCoin, and you know, for months we've called it WildCoin, and you know, it's lived up to its name one more time, and it's very, very salty about the size of this pump that we got here. Let's see. 𝗦𝗚𝗔𝗕𝗟𝗏 says share some juicy entries. Okay, well, I've got a juicy entry for you. Okay, so special request for 𝗦𝗚𝗔𝗕𝗟𝗏. There is a token I'm watching right now, gaming token, and it's called Playable Games. It's you can buy it on MEXC. And I think this is Bitmart, this other exchange. But if you're looking for Playable Games, I've left a MEXC link in the exchange for you. Okay, you can buy it there in MEXC. There's also a special offer available. If you click that MEXC link in the description, there is a limited offer there for you guys that expires in a few days' time. And if you want to have a go at this Playable Games, now this is gaming narrative, gaming tokens, and you can see we've bled out now at the moment. We are 5% down for the day, and we've moved into a potential hot zone. So we've got a 12-hour chart here, and let me just tell you what's going on. We've had a nice little downtrend here on Playable Games. We've smashed the downtrend now. We've smashed the 50-day moving average, and we've come back, and we are now retesting a 382 fib, a horizontal, and a 50-day moving average. And balance of probability tells us we generally tend to get a bounce in these type of regions, or a reaction in these type of regions. So I've been buying a little bit of this Playable Games as a spot position, and upside we've got here is a 51% move to the range high that I'm looking at the moment. And stop options, depending on your risk profile and what level of risk you want to take here, there are 2 potential stop zones for you. So the first one is a very aggressive stop. It's under the 50-day moving average. It's for a candle close under that 50-day moving average. So sometimes these guys are going to try and bleed you down a little bit, and then send the candle straight back up and grab these stops. So always try and look for a candle close under these areas rather than a hard stop where as it hits that level, you exit the trade. So if you can, look for a candle close under the 50-day moving average. That number is 0.00536. So if you get a close under 0.0536, your risk on this potential long is 3.7%. Remember, this is a spot trade. And your next option is a close under the 618 fib. So if they want to send it a little bit lower and come back down and test the 618 region, that is another potential reaction zone. That's another potential bounce zone that I like on these charts. So that's an area to watch. If it closes under 0.00487, that is your next stop area. So stop option 1 was about 3.5%. Stop option 2 is about 12%. And the upside we're looking at here, if this is a typical trend break, retest, and move higher, the upside here is roughly, say, 48 to 50% available on this Playable Game. So there you go. There's your entry. What else we got? Frenchie's looking for entries on AI. Well, I've got some AI tokens that I'm going to talk to you guys about, and maybe we can deal with them. But I've gone full degen on some of these. We're going to have to dial in on some of these bullish coins. So let's just finish. Where we are here on ETH. Okay, so ETH traders, we've seen a lot of strength now this weekend. Those of you that have been holding ETH, well, we're now firing. This is absolutely cooking for us, and no changes to our ETH upside target. Our ETH upside target is the 618 fib region. So it's anything from 3,300 to 3,400. That is still locked in for me. No reason to not see ETH at these levels. We've also got ETH Denver coming up. There's a lot of still bullish talk and bullish news about ETH happening in the market. It's definitely the narrative. It's definitely the trade. We've been talking about this trade since, where were we? Since 2,300, we've been pushing this ETH narrative here, and we've had some solid moves since then. So ETH right now is like a freight train. It's not giving up. What I can tell you, ETH traders, your support areas that you want to watch: 2.7 big zone. Okay, that's a retest of that horizontal. Don't really want to lose that 2.7. If we do, worst case, I want to see a wick down into this 382 region. So call it 2.640 as your next area. So 2.7, 2.640, they're both bullish areas here for us for ETH. They're areas where we can look for bounces. They're areas where we can look for buys on ETH in anticipation of a bigger move higher. If it wants to bleed more and we start losing these trends, well, then we reassess. Markets looking bearish. Things are looking a little bit dark out there. So right now, these are the big areas for ETH traders: 2.7, 2.640. That's where you are, and that's where your longs are. I see Marcus is talking about Doge. Yeah, I do have a Doge for you guys as well. Let's see. Jesse's saying she's looking for a PYTH long. There's a lot of guys talking about PYTH longs. I don't mind if we quickly jump into PYTH. If it's urgent, we can quickly look at it. Let's pull this up quickly and see what we have for you guys on PYTH. Okay, we're going to have to open a fresh chart here. So let's see what this looks like. Now remember, PYTH is big staking narrative, lots of things happening with PYTH, and it's the flavor of the month with the staking. We've seen it on things like Tahoe as well. Lots of staking narrative happening there, and the minute you now say staking in this market, these tokens start pumping, and at some point the staking narrative is going to die down, and normality is going to prevail. But if you're looking for PYTH, let's see on the 8 hour. Let's take a look here. Okay, so PYTH on the 8 hour. I would say look for some support down here. 0.54 is a nice little hot zone. Okay, that's a 618. That's horizontals as well. And potentially, look, you can potentially play this 382, but you're going to really have to be dialed in here. And the more we get dialed in, the higher your risk for these trades and these setups. So now, I mean, if we're looking at a 1 hour setup, you can see we do have some kind of horizontals here to play with. So those of you in the chat saying you are busy longing PYTH, I can see why you are trying to long PYTH here. It is sitting on a horizontal, but I would suggest if that fails, then you are looking for areas lower down. You are looking to test this wick here, and you are looking at the 618 and trend at 0.54. So eyes on those two areas. Let's just take a look what confluence we have here on this 1 hour. If we pull these fibs, yeah, we've lost the 382. So what I would say PYTH traders, watch anything, and these are the scalpers now, down to 0.586. Okay, watch that 618. See what type of bounce you get here at the 618. And remember, this PYTH narrative generally picks up towards Wednesday when they start locking up the token. So it would make sense that there's a sell-off leading into it, and then Wednesday, Thursday, the PYTH tokens seem to move a little bit better. So I would say be a little bit patient. Eyes on the 618 as support. That's 0.586. And then eyes on the next big dog here. Call it 0.545. That is your next main area. That's a sort of an area where you can long with a little bit more confidence on PYTH. And just remember the story. The game plan, yes, PYTH tends to move better on a Wednesday, Thursday. James says, unfortunately, no leverage on MEXC for bull. Yes, it's a spot trade, guys. If you want to play playable games, that's a spot position. Okay, another one for you guys. Big airdrop coming on Frax FXS. Okay, so FXS holders, March 6th, there's a snapshot coming, probably the biggest airdrop. Okay, that's what Sam's telling us. So let's take a look at FXS, because everyone starts breathing airdrops, and these tokens start pumping. So let's see what we've got here. So Frax is looking interesting, but what I would say here is we're pushing into a bit of horizontal resistance that we need to pay attention to. It's horizontals tied in with a 50-day moving average. So we've got to keep our eyes on this at the moment. But bullish news for Frax. We've got an airdrop coming. What does that mean? It means people are going to be buying the token to take advantage of the airdrop and doing all sorts of necessary things using that platform to take advantage of it. So bullish for Frax, I would say. What you need to watch for, ideally what you just want this pop higher. Once we get a pop above this region, these type of horizontals generally give us very good support on the retest. So we're just looking for this pop up, then we're looking for that rejection, and then we're looking for a nice little move here on Frax. So just get a game plan in place here. I would say wait for this retest ideally if you want to play the game for Frax. And the retest, remember, sometimes they like to just push you a little bit lower than that horizontal on that retest. Generally, maybe a 382 fib they'll come and take out coming down. So watch for the break, then watch for the retest here, and any moves down to about 9.05, I would say would be a nice little buy. But again, bulls, you really want to see this pop first. You want to just confirm that they are trying to print new highs here. If we do get some downside on Frax, it's still going to be a bullish setup for me. We are going to be looking at something along these lines. We're going to look at some kind of inverse head and shoulders here. So your next area, if this area fails, your next buy region is going to be just above the 618 region, so 8.7. So mark these on your charts here. 8.7 is a buy zone for Frax on a pullback. Otherwise, wait for the pop, and then we're looking at this resistance buy roundabout, or anything down to about 9.1 to 9.05. Anything in that region is going to be your bullish buy zone. But again, wait for that push up. We just want to confirm that we are breaking through this resistance area, and then we want to see if the bulls are going to step in on that retest. Beta Studio says, what about Filecoin? I've got Filecoin. Guys, I'm all over this thing. I know Run was talking about Filecoin, and, I saw it started pumping as well. I mean, it literally started moving. You guys were buying Filecoin while he was talking about it. Okay, next one I've got for you. So this is an interesting play. This is Stacks. Okay, so I've opened a short-term short on Stacks. It was a speculative play on 2-bit. I'm going to tell you guys about that now. It was just a small little position as a hedge. My reasoning behind a potential Stacks short here is if we have an Altseason, that means BTC is running flat, BTC is ranging and not pumping. And we have noticed that Stacks keeps pumping when BTC is pumping, and Stacks goes quiet when BTC goes quiet. So that was my reasoning behind it. Ideally, what I was asking today on Twitter, I was actually saying, if Stacks gets the push up to all-time highs, is that going to be the signal for the top of this market, for the top of this move before we get our big flush out? So right now I am in a speculative short down here and in Stacks, but the main position for me is a push into these all-time highs. So we've got a little alarm set in this region at 3.17. So I've set an alarm. If we start pinging this region, that could open a potential short opportunity for the bears, and then we're looking for a move down to about 32%. So my question I'm asking here is, one more pump of Stacks, one more pump of BTC, is that giving us the rejection? Is that giving us the retest that we want, and then that pullback that we need to fire off some of these altcoins? So a little bit of a game we're playing here, and we'll keep our eyes on it. But Stacks right now, you can see what's going on. This is a weekly chart, big resistance area here for Stacks, big resistance play at the moment. So it is going to take a little bit of work here for Stacks to push higher, and then we're going to watch this all-time high closely at 3.25. That's going to be a big number for us to see what their game plan is going to be. Did you guys enjoy the meme show that I did on Friday? I see we had some cracking results on some of these tokens. I'm going to show you this tweet, but let me know in the chats who enjoyed that DGen play, because we're going to be making it a regular thing for you guys. And I just pulled up some of the results that I spoke about on Friday, and these were some proper DGen plays, and I posted it on Twitter here today. So since Friday, Welsh is 52% up, that Ponky token 80%, Mog 80%, used car, the one with a guy hitting a golf ball off the top of a Honda Civic, up 53%, Credo Wallet up 23%, and NPC was up 25%. So I think we had some good results with these DGen plays. Obviously, they're very high risk tokens, but and they're not always going to go our way. But I think we called about maybe 8 or 9 tokens in that show, and the top 6 here really pumped for us. So guys, let me know in the chats here what you guys thought about it. But looks like Fridays is going to be a bit more of a DGen vibe for you guys, and we're going to be bringing some special guests for you. I see Michelle enjoyed that. I see Bruce loved that. Michael van Vieren says that was the best. Let's see. Ali says .2 is going to be massive. Do we still trade DOT, guys? Do we still watch this DOT? Let me know, the DOT traders here. What's the story? It's like DOT and ADA. Do we still need to play that game? Okay, let's talk AI tokens. Okay, so here's NVIDIA. Pushing into a resistance area. Now remember, we got NVIDIA results coming on Wednesday. Is this going to be the time where they reject? or is this thing going to pump through? So, you know, often we see these tokens and these stocks trading well into a results or into news and things like that, with the anticipation that the results are going to be big. Is it going to continue over and carry on pumping? Well, that remains to be seen. But what I can give you now, NVIDIA, this is a 2.618 fib. You can see we're battling in this area at the moment. Now, the US markets are closed today, so we're going to see what happens tomorrow. We're going to see how they play this. I'm assuming with all this AI narrative stuff, tomorrow might be one more green day leading into this. So we're going to look out for, we're going to look out for a potential sell the news event there on the news. If it does pull back, these are areas you want to be prepped for. These are areas you want to look out for NVIDIA. And the first area I would say, NVIDIA traders, 595. That is your first super bullish zone, and that's tied in with a fib, it's tied in with our weekly level, and it's tied in with the 50-day moving average there. So anywhere in that region there, 595, that's my first hot pullback zone for NVIDIA. And lower down then 500, another hot zone. Now remember, if the results aren't great or the results are pretty flat or as expected, then you might see a bit of a pullback, a bit of a drawdown on NVIDIA, because often when we're pumping and, you know, they're pricing in these things, they're expecting a lot of good things out of this. So eyes on that NVIDIA results. And I think these results are going to play a very big part in how these AI crypto tokens respond as well. And I think they are getting a little bit hot here and a little bit hyped up in the current situation. So this is Render, for example. And I mean, all of these tokens have been pumping. So for those of you trading Render, you know, we've been in this, we had this Render position that we teed up. When was this? Must have been last week sometime. We were looking at this 382 pullback, and then it absolutely took off. Let's just get this, let's just get the screen running here. What happens when you have 400 tabs open on your screen. Okay, so yeah, this was our original move here. We were just looking for the 382 bounce on Render, and now we are trying to hit our upside target. Our upside target was 6.6. That was a zone that we were looking to hit. I see we are melting down a little bit earlier, but again, that doesn't mean the show is over. It could be just having a breather right now. So upside target for Render for me is still 6.66. If you are interested in looking for potential buys and potential pullback zones, you've got to go DGen. The only way to play these, these tokens that are ripping like this is to actually go down into 1 hour candles, even 15-minute candles. And if you really want to go down that road, and you can start playing, you know, you play the fibs, you play the levels, and you can start looking for areas of interest and where you can get potential entries. So what can I give you right now? How do we look for an entry? Well, it's as simple as this. You want to look for a low, for example, this low here, Saturday's low after that dip. And then you want to bring your fibs up, and you want to see where your fibs are going to tie in with some hot horizontal areas, because we need confidence. We want to understand where on this 1 hour chart are we going to get a bounce if Render starts melting down. Where's a hot zone for us? And we want to ideally find areas where we get confluence and where the horizontals are tying in with the fibs. So what I can see here is I've got a 0.5 that's going to tie in on the horizontal. So let's just pull the 0.5 in here. Okay, so we've got a 0.5 sitting in the middle. We know often some of these tokens like to respect that 0.5 level on a move. So hot zones for Render right now. What do you want to do if you're a scalper? If you're looking for that move, you're looking for that push higher, you want a taste of the NVIDIA trade, all that type of thing. What you're looking at here, 5.9. This is going to be a first area of interest for you. You can see there's minor horizontals here, 5.9. Then your next hot zone, I would say this is a higher conviction area for me. You can see we've got nice horizontals here for Render. So entry wise for Render, 5.74. You can try that area, 5.74. So two areas to try for scalps, 5.9, 5.74. Okay, so ideally you're looking for something like this, little drift down, maybe a bounce in that region, and then you take off. Otherwise, we reject, we come down, and we're going to play this. We're going to play that trend game again. So these are the two big areas where you can start nibbling at positions, and then you're going to wait for that trend break, and then you can start adding. And then the upside is still only 6.6, unless something incredible starts happening with NVIDIA. I would say 6.6 is a nice little upside. And remember, people have been trading Render now for a week. So people are well in profit, they are doing well, and when they hit these big target zones, that is where they're going to be taking profits and, probably just taking something off the table. So just expect some kind of sell-off after that news event. Let's see. Jockey says, my tabs are why trading view is so slow. Guys, I'm bringing you so many tokens. I've got exchanges open to show you. So yeah, sometimes this, the Mac seems to struggle a little bit when we've got 500 tabs open. But I'm here to bring you these charts. I'm here to bring you the alpha, and let this Mac heat up and burn, so I can serve you guys. I just want to dish out setups and charts to you all day long. So here's GRT. This is another one. I'm so salty about this one. I missed this absolute ripper as well. But the good thing about GRT, so GRT traders, you have now moved into your next range play for GRT. So this was a massive area for us. You can see this was a weekly zone. We've got multiple touches here and weekly massive rejections here every time. So the good news is, GRT traders, we've broken through a huge weekly level. So this gives us an area of interest for our new support. So any pullbacks now onto this new support area tells us we're at the bottom of potentially our new range. And this new range for us on GRT is roughly 33%. We want to just target the upside of this range here. So I've got a 33% move for GRT on any pullbacks into this area. Ideally, you want to get deep pullbacks onto these weekly support levels. So anything down to 0.227, 0.22, anywhere in that region for me is a weekly support buy on GRT. So let's see how that goes. Would I trade leverage on GRT right now from here? No, the answer is no. I would let it pull back. Otherwise, alternatively, you are going 1 hour candles, you are going 15-minute candles, and you're going to practice what I just showed you on that render trade. And I'm actually going to give you the example on WLD. I can't dial in obviously on all of these tokens for you guys, so I want to give you the same example now. But upside for GRT, 33% to the range high, buys down to 0.22. I would say if the move's going to continue, the narrative is going to continue, weekly support is where it's at for GRT, and that's where you're looking for your buys. Yowza says, many tabs slow down your PC. 100%. Okay. Ian says, don't cuck me with Cass. He needs it. I'm going to show you Cass, guys. I've got Cass. I would never drop you when Cass pumping. I'll never drop you when Cass is pumping like that. Okay, so here's WLD and a couple of options here. So let's actually zoom out first, just to give you guys a picture as to what they've done here. I mean, this was absolutely ridiculous, the way this thing pumped. Hopefully, some of you were involved in WLD. I want to know if you guys were. Let me know here in the chats. Not many WLD traders here in the chats, from what I've noticed. Let's see. There's lots of people asking about key and things like that. Okay, let me know. Anyone hit this WLD? I know some of the guys here in the office got WLD, because you know what happens. You get a pump like this, and then suddenly the P&L start filling up the management groups and the chat groups and all these things. And, good for them. They got some big moves here. How do we play this now? What do we do? I mean, this is insanity. So I wouldn't buy this now, at levels like this. But what you can do, if you're a scalper and you're a degen, and you are looking, to trade moves into this NVIDIA earnings and into this narrative, what you can do is look for scalp entries, and that's what I've prepped here for you guys. So WLD on the 1 hour. And remember, when these things are pumping, you can call them the fun lines, okay? So these are, the fun line is the rising trend, okay? And as long as this rising trend is continuing, you can play the game, you can dance while the music's playing and do all these things. And when you lose that trend, then you know the fun's over, and the narrative has moved elsewhere. So remember, the narrative changes from week to week. Crypto is, it's very fickle. We go to AI, then we go to DeFi, then we go to layer ones, we go to all these things, and it's just this constant rotation. So, don't feel like you've missed out. At some point, the narrative falls over, and these things pull back, and you get your next bite. So best areas for me on WLD, I would say, is the 618 and horizontal tied in with trend. Okay, so this is your hot zone. Anything around about 6.5. So be a little bit patient here on WLD. You don't want to just rush into it for no reason. Here's the 6.5 level at the 618 fib. Let's see where our 382 is currently. Okay, it's on a 382. Give it credit. Okay, it's on a 382, but I don't have much more for you on this current 382 other than a fib. So it's a little bit tricky. So what I would say you want to look out for, you just want to look out for this downtrend. Okay, let's see how this plays. Okay, if it does this, that's where your buys are. 6.5, that's your buy zone for WLD. If at any point in time it starts blowing up you're going to have to just track this trend, and you're going to have to play the trend game. But the safest play for you, 6.5, it's a standard pullback onto a trend, onto a horizontal, and onto a 618 fib. So there's 3 reasons why it should react in that area. And if it doesn't react in that area, it means the narrative is potentially dying and people are looking elsewhere. So you are looking at something like that, and at least a 20% move if we do hit the 6.5 level. Let's see what else we got. Ondo, Gala. So Gala's hit our TP2, guys. We have we've been, yeah, Gala in Sniper Club has hit our TP2. That's gone it's gone pretty well. It was also in Hustle's product in the game. We've hit TP2 in the games charts as well, that he keeps there. Let's see what else we got. 𝗬𝗠𝗘𝗟𝗗𝗦 Safas says, loves the show. Abonay, I've got Filecoin for you. Don't panic. Okay, let's see the condition of Filecoin after that run pump there. While he was talking about it, this thing just started ripping. Okay, so we've seen Arweave move, we've seen a storage narrative. If anyone was around in 2020, 2021, you know what Filecoin does. This thing can absolutely rip. It can rip the lights out of things. It comes out of nowhere, and you know, it's always been on my watch list. So for those of you on Sniper Club wondering why I keep updating File, it's just because I know what this thing can do. So I keep it on my list. What can I give you now? How do we trade this? Well, okay, we've seen a nice little move. You want to try and understand, where does this thing reject and where does this thing find support? And if I want to have a piece of this Filecoin, how do I get it? So let's just look where our rejection zones are. Okay, so that's a nice little start. It's hovering around a little 618 region. So eyes on this now. Okay, eyes on this region here could give you something. Support you need to look out for. Big support region now. This is a nice key area here for us. Filecoin 6.52. Okay, moves down into this area. Okay, if we are strong and the market's okay, dips into this region. 6.52 is where you want to be for Filecoin. That is also your support region you want to watch. So if you are long and you start losing the 6.5 region, anything down a little bit lower here, you start losing that area, then maybe you want to start cutting your File position. So I would say any pullbacks into this zone, there's a nice juicy area here in this area. So let's say 6.52 down to 6.38. Okay, nice little area here for potential pullbacks on Filecoin. And then upside target, you don't want to get too aggressive here. You want to just you want to make sure you're taking something off at 7.9. So just make sure you're just nipping something off there on Filecoin at 7.9. Obviously, it can go higher. I would definitely say in this market, you want to leave something in the tank there. You don't want to close everything. So watch this area here, 7.9 for upside here for Filecoin. And then if you dial out, you can see there's for those of you new to Filecoin who haven't seen the powers of Filecoin, we do have a bigger upside target for you, round about 9.2. So that is the next big area for Filecoin. So if you're looking for positions, you want to build positions and things like that, you have your support now that you need to watch, and then upside you're looking at around about that 9.2 region. Benjamin says, where can I add more to my Ponky bags? Well, you can go into BirdEye with your Phantom wallet, and you can buy it through there. And otherwise, I think Ponky is on MEXC, as far as I know. So you can grab the MEXC link in the description. Guys, I've got a whole shopping list for you in the description here. This is the description on my show. Okay, so you can see what's going on. There's Prime XBT. There's a 7% sign-up bonus. So whatever you put in there, they give you 7% in dollars to trade with. It's actually unreal. It's tried and tested. I've done it. So whatever amount you put in, they give you 7%. There's 2bit as well, $9,000 up for grabs and sign-up bonuses. There's Coincall. There's so much action happening. So if you're looking for a new exchange, check it out in the description. And 2bit is KYC friendly as well, if you want to try that. And you guys, if you have been watching me long enough, you know that I've been trading on 2bit. Here's 2bit. Let me just show you what's going on here. They do eventually open it for me. Okay, so here's my current 2bit situation. I got a late long there on Filecoin, and you can see it's green, but my entry wasn't very good. It was a very bad entry there on Filecoin. The MATIC trade that we took together, that thing is now flying. What are we up here? We're up 2,900 almost. So that's going nicely. And then my little hedge stack short here. No reason to exit just yet, but yeah, that's it was a small position, and that's about $200 up at the moment. So the nice thing is about 2bit as well is that you can long and short at the same time. So let's say you long in a MATIC position, for example, but you think we're going to get a pullback, but you don't want to close your MATIC long, you just want some hedge, you can short MATIC at the same time. So if you are long-term bullish and you're saying, well, we're getting a small pullback, you can actually short the same token, and it keeps it open for you at the same time, and that can then pay, you know, to add to that position. If you are longer term bullish, then you can sell, obviously close your short and then add to your long position and grow the size of it. So nice little strategy there that you can play on 2bit, and then you can also adjust the margin. You've got isolated and you've got cross, so you can play the game. You can isolate the trades, or you can leave it cross, which allows you to trade with profits, and you don't have to close the position. So for example, this MATIC trade that I'm in is up $2,800, and it's a cross position, and that says to me that I can now use that $2,800 to leverage up and open more positions without closing the current MATIC position. Obviously, it's all fun when the market's moving up and you can 20x, 30x your account in a matter of days, but the downside is if we get a flush out and you're trading cross, then you can get really smashed. So just be careful with that and be very selective as to how you trade cross. And if you are starting cross, start with a small amount in there and let it just grow from there. James says thoughts on Litecoin. Look, that Litecoin trade that we've taken is still going. No changes there. No changes to that XRP trade either. Here is Prime XBT. So here's this Litecoin that we're in. Again, slow mover, trading a dust coin. These are the things you do. If you trade a dust coin, the price you pay is slow moving. So XRP dust coin, Litecoin dust coin, they are there, not doing anything yet, but they are now there. And then the other two, Sol and AVAX. So I did want to talk to you guys about AVAX because there is a token unlock coming on AVAX, and I just want to highlight to you, and this might be why AVAX is looking a little bit bearish today, but hopefully after this current sell-off that we're in here for AVAX, you can see they're unlocking 2.7% of circulating supply. So it's a fairly big unlock here, and that could be telling us why AVAX is looking a bit sad. So after this current sell-off, then I would say we are bullish AVAX again. And right now there's something staring at me. It's a head and shoulders, looking a little bit sad. What do we have support though? We do have horizontal, we do have trend, and we do have a 382. So right now we are still holding the trend. So those of you know, this is the fun line. As long as we are holding the fun line, we can be bullish. But if you look relatively, AVAX has been a little bit weak compared to things like Sol and things like that today. So what do you do as an AVAX trader? Well, number one, if you're looking for a position, if you're looking for a long, okay, this is a hot zone right now. Okay, you've got a 382, you've got horizontals, and you've got trend. Okay, so if you're a bull, you could try open a long here on this area. You've got your supports. Okay, so potentially a bounce coming for AVAX. What you really need to see though is a new high printed very quickly for AVAX to carry on. The bears are looking at this saying, okay, cool, this is a head and shoulders. AVAX have got an unlock coming. Maybe there's going to be some selling in the market. So the bears are now looking for a loss of this horizontal and the push up. And then they are going to be looking for their shorts from that region. So you're going to be looking at something like this. If you're a bear, your short setup is going to be something along these lines. Okay, and you're going to wait for that retest of that area. It's a typical trend retest. So the same way we long off a trend retest for the bulls, the bears operate exactly the same way. And you can turn this, you can flip this chart over, and you're looking at something like that. So for example, if we saw this setup here, I'd be saying, well, here's an inverse head and shoulders. This token's looking very bullish. What we want to do is we want it to pop first, then we're going to trade that retest of that area, and you can see why this now makes sense. So if this was a bullish setup, you'd understand now this is a potential long. If we flip it back to where we were, you can see why it's a potential short on the table. But how do we get there? First, we need to lose that trend. So we can't get too excited here. If you're a bear, don't get too excited until AVAX loses that trend and then starts making it way back up for the retest. That should open your potential short. Right now, we are still testing trend, horizontal, 382 fib. We're in bull country at the moment. So any moves from here upwards, you just want to crack a new high around 43.5. If we can blow that, then we back in business with AVAX. Let's see what else is happening. I've got super for you guys as well. That's great. I feel like I'm nailing all your tokens today. Like anything I'm seeing in the chats, I'm actually prepped for you. I'm ahead of the curve here today. Here's 𝗤𝗘𝗧𝗧, another one. We're playing the same game, so major staking narrative as well with 𝗬𝗧, which explains why it's been pumping non-stop, and there's lots of incentive now to stake 𝗬𝗧, and we've got the fun line. So what you need to look out for, this is 𝗬𝗧 on the 8 hour. So 𝗬𝗧 traders, you are now at resistance. This is your 2.618. I mean, believe it or not, we pulled a 2.618 from this high to this low, and that predicted where we could potentially get some kind of rejection on 𝗬𝗧. And look, it's not perfect, but it's pretty accurate that it did nail that region. So right now, resistance area for us 699 to 700. That is a resistance zone, and you can play this fun line until we lose it. So if we lose this trend, then things turn bearish, and we're looking at something along these lines. But as long as there's a strong staking narrative and people are drinking the Kool-Aid, then these things should carry on pumping. So right now, watch this rising trend. Let's look at some supports that you can potentially play with. I need to close some of these windows here. Okay, that's going to be a bit better. Yeah, if you got 500 tabs open and you got 3 or 4 trading exchanges open, it tends to slow things down a little bit. Okay, so supports, what do you want to watch? If you're a scalper now for 𝗬𝗧 and you want a piece of this action, how do you get it? What are you looking for? So the first thing you want to do, this is the 8 hour that I'm working at. We can dial in a little bit more. We can zoom in, but a big support area to watch. This is a big zone. 592, that's a big area. We've got horizontals on the 8 hour, we've got a 618 fib, and we've got this little trend region. So if they do come with a little sell-off here, watch out, this 592. Let's dial in a little bit more. And I see they've given us a little fake out here on the 1 hour. So there was probably a couple of excited 𝗬𝗧 traders there, and they basically just threw a dummy at you there. Okay, so watch that right now. Okay, so this is the 1 hour. So now we degen vibes, guys. Remember, the risk starts increasing when you start playing this the 1 hour scalping game. Risk starts increasing here for you, but what we can see, nice support. Okay, nice horizontals. Scalpers over here, look at this 1 hour bouncing. They're buying it up. Whenever it hits the zone, they were buying it up. Okay, now they've sold you. Okay, let's see if this is a bounce here. But again, if we base our entire this entire move on what's going on here, okay, supports for buying. And that's where you can buy. So if you're looking for scalp 𝗬𝗧, that's where it is right now. This is your area, 630. Okay, you lose this zone, then we're looking at something along these lines, and you're probably going to be visiting this 594 to 595 region. Wannabe Whale says, so you're basically saying long 𝗦𝗚𝗘𝗟𝗗. Yeah, basically, I'm saying as long as the staking narrative is going to continue and this market's going to stay bullish, there's no reason why they won't keep buying this token. You might get bigger drawdowns. You might get, some profit taking, because remember, some of the guys that were buying this at $20, $30. So they are well up, and at some point they're going to start taking profits. But as long as they're locking up tokens and you're staking, no reason why this won't continue up, until the market maybe realizes that the staking isn't worth it and they're not making the type of money they thought they were going to make. Now remember, the staking was massive a few months ago because people were making so much money. It started with that the 𝗬𝗢𝗓 setup. I mean, the people were making thousands of dollars, and now every single project has jumped onto the staking narrative and they're all pumping. But at some point, that falls over. Benjamin, he wants a Ponky chart. Yeah, so Benjamin, I charted Ponky on Friday for you. Big mover. I think it was 50-odd%. I would just say watch your next horizontal support for any pullbacks there for you. Okay, guys, let's talk Doge, because we've got ETH strength, and maybe it's time for some ETH, some ETH fun. And when I say ETH fun, I'm talking about ETH meme coins and things like that. We know when we are bullish Solana, we get Sol meme coins, WIF, Bonk, Ponky, all those start pumping. And here comes Doge, having a go now into a nice little hot zone. And I think this could be the one for us on Doge. So Doge traders, for me, there's a move, looks like there's a move building right now. And this is the plan. This is how you're going to play it. So if we do pop here, expect a quick move into the 0.0905 region. You can see why this could be a quick move here. We would have had a couple of shorts teed up in this area, so there might be a little squeeze here into this 0.0905 region. Then you really want that retest down to 0.0877, but there is a potential long building right now on Doge. It's just depends on your risk profile, how you want to play the stops, and how dirty your leverage is, obviously. But you know, that's going to be up to you guys how you playing this thing here. But what I can tell you here is there is a mini range play coming here, 7% on Doge at least, that we're looking at into the 0.094, and then another nice little level here at 0.0983. So there is a move coming on Doge. Again, it depends on your risk profile. If you're trading high leverage, you are taking chances here because we don't have a solid level for you on Doge, other than the fact that it's now pushing up. So again, the best play that you want to do is, and the safest play, let it do its thing, let it pop higher. You're going to get the buys when it comes back into that zone, and that's going to trigger this long setup for you on Doge. So just give it a little bit of time. It's a typical horizontal break and retest. If you're buying it right now, you are buying into a resistance area. So you just need to understand it can reject at a resistance zone. And if it rejects, it can be quite brutal. And they could send you back down to the next major support area. So exercise a little bit of patience. If you're chomping at the bit, what you can do is start laddering in a little bit and just manage your risk. But the real test for Doge is going to be on that pullback onto that support. And I would expect this pullback to happen. You can see this region's been tested many times before, and it would make sense that they want to send it up, bring it back down, and that's where the bulls can really step in. So exercise a bit of patience here, get it on your watch list. It looks like there is going to be a move coming here on Doge, and then if not, rejection time and your next buy zone for Doge. Okay, monster pullbacks here, 0.0816. Justin Saylor said it wasn't Jupiter, it was 𝗬𝗘𝗧. 100% correct. It was 𝗬𝗘𝗧. The guys made tons of money on 𝗬𝗘𝗧. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, what else? Sushi. Look, we might be bringing Sushi back. We might be bringing Curve back. We might be bringing Uniswap, Aave, all these types of things back. You know, Ray was whispering in my ear earlier saying maybe it's time to start looking at those. And, you know, maybe we're going to start bringing some of those up this week. Wayne is up at 2:20 a.m. Wayne, I appreciate that you're staying up to watch the action here at 2 in the morning for you. Okay, let's go. Filecoin we've covered. The next one I've got for you guys, GMX. Okay, don't sleep on GMX. You know this is Run's favorite token. You know Run buys this thing. And here it is again. So here's more bullish news on GMX. This guy's saying there's no ways you can convince me that GMX is not insanely undervalued. Okay, so I've been buying a little bit of this GMX. Okay, there's a couple of reasons here, but the first one is we've broken, this is the weekly chart, we've broken the 200-day moving average, and we've broken the 50-day moving average. So things are telling me that we are turning slightly bullish here on GMX, but there is time, obviously, if you play the game. This is a weekly chart. There'll be multiple opportunities to buy this. There'll be multiple trades here on GMX, but I've got my eyes on this at the moment. And, you know, this is starting to look a little bit more bullish for me. It's looking a little bit interesting, but there's a lot of trades here. Okay, the first move is going to be into this horizontal here for GMX. So your first target zone is going to be somewhere around 55. Okay, so that's the first area that we're looking for some kind of move here, GMX. That's the first region where there's a potential TP. Then you're going to expect some kind of pullback, but then the real move is going to happen during this bull run when we start blowing this massive weekly trend. So get GMX on your radar, do your own research, obviously, but you know, there's a reason Run likes GMX, and they're getting used, and the guys are starting to wake up to it. So eyes on GMX. Let's just dial in a little bit and just give you a picture as to what's happening here. Okay, so we've seen a lot of alts with this type of setup. Okay, we've blown through 200-day, 50-day, these type of things. And the first thing you want to do, again, if you're looking for entries, especially the leverage traders, you know, you want to be very greedy with your entries. You want to be very greedy with your pullback zones. And you can see we've got a clearly defined support level now for GMX and clearly defined upside targets that you can look for. So upside 1, 51.2, and your second upside region is around about it's just under this 55 region. that I was talking to you about. So that is those are your regions there. Let's just mark that again. Okay, so just under 55 and then 51. These are zones of interest. How do you play this now? Okay, what you do, you be a little bit patient, look for a flag. Okay, we want to see something along these lines. At some point, it pops higher, and then you start playing your regions, and you're going to see something along those lines if this stays bullish. So you're going to have your first buy area potentially on pullbacks down to this region. So buy zone 1, 47.5, buy zone 2, 46. Okay, both bullish buy zones. Buy zone 3 would be a break and a retest of the horizontal. Okay, and then your next one is the break of the next level and horizontal. So right now, eyes on GMX for a flag. Yeah, very interested in this at the moment and looking for some bigger things. AJC says file is at 7. Is file ripping here or something? Ray, what's going on here? Is it cooking? Okay, file looking good. Okay, so yeah, I mean, we've seen this cycle before. We had AR pumping before, and then Arweave, and then the file came straight after. And I think it's just repeating itself. Crypto's so predictable, but unpredictable at the same time, isn't it? It's always the same story. You know, sometimes they just spin it a little bit different. Okay, CAS traders, you've waited so patiently, and here we are. Okay, CAS banging on. Well, it's broken all-time highs once again. You know, this thing, when does it end? It's very difficult to now call the tops, but what I can give you is an upside. So if you're a CAS trader, okay, you've missed the best entry. Okay, the best entry was earlier today. This was a little trend breakout, very typical little trend breakout here. And now this thing's all-time highs, it's pumping. There's a target for this move that I have right now. I'm going to tell you why this is the target. It's 0.191. So if you are long CAS, okay, understand that you could be getting a rejection. Anything around 0.19, that is going to be your potential rejection zone. Let's just zoom out. I'll show you why that area is interesting to me. And it's a typical 1.618 pool. So what you're going to do, if you've got tokens in price discovery, how do you find out where they're going to go? How do you guesstimate what they do? Well, the easiest way to do it is to pull from the high to the low of your previous move, and you put in the 1.618 fib. Okay, so in your fibs, you're going to have to go into settings. Okay, here they are over here. So what you'll do is you'll go into settings on the fibs, and you can see that giving you a 3618, a 2618, and you can put in the 1618, and they give you prediction zones as to where these altcoins could potentially go to. So right now, the only thing you can work with is a 0.19 level for CAS as a potential target. So don't forget to take profit. We know these things like to pump, then they like to consolidate, then we get our next entries, or they reject, or things like that. So just always remember, you don't need to have FOMO. You know, let it pump, wait for the next consolidation, then we can get involved again if you missed the trade. There's always a token at some point that is going to break a trend that is doing these types of things. So don't feel like you're missing out. Okay, Nigo Alex likes that information, guys. I'm happy to share. If you're part of Sniper Club, you get this type of stuff from us all day long. We've got Bruce in there, David, Simon, Sheldon, everybody in there. We just dropping advice. We've got a psychology Zoom. We do trader psychology. Craig is getting involved there, and it's really good stuff, you know, because like I'd say about 80% of trading is just in your head, really. As to how you deal with it. Once you figure out how to chart and stuff, it's actually quite simple. But the real pain comes with how do you close your trade? How do you stop yourself from being greedy? You know, why are you sitting in a trade when you're bleeding red? And, you know, what is that doing to you? It's keeping you up at night. It's killing you mentally. You're getting grumpy with the kids, you know, all these types of things. And, you know, a big part of that is psychology. So if that's your missing link in trading, come hang out with us at Sniper Club. We do private Zooms for you guys non-stop. There's 6 or 7 a week. And there's things from beginners trading to advanced leverage that I do every Sunday. We were on a live stream last night, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock last night, Sunday night. Me and DJ and Dave and Craig joined us as well. And we're always there. We're there for you guys. You know, this is the start of a bull market. You don't want to get rinsed out at the start of a bull market. And come hang out with us. We trade it together, and we'll help you on this journey. You know, we've all been there. We've got battle wounds, we've got battle scars, and you know, we've dealt with all these things. So we can definitely fast track you and help you guys. So grab the link in the description. If you're interested in something like that, jump in and come hang out with us at Sniper Club. Okay, PYTH holding for now. Let's see what else we got here. Super. This was the last one of the day. Okay, so super, guys. I think you've potentially got an entry here right now on super. Okay, this is the weekly chart, and the deeper this move pulls back, probably the better for you and the lower your risk right now. So let me just explain why I think this is interesting. Super has now pierced a major weekly area here, and you can see why this is a huge weekly zone for us, and we've got rejected many times before here. This was a massive zone for us. So 1.22, that is a big weekly area, and we now have a low. We have today's weekly, it was the weekly candle actually, so that's the weekly low at 1.13, and potential upside here that I'm looking at for super round about 74%. And your risk, if we just dial in a little bit here, your risk here is about 5%. I mean, this could be a beautiful potential spot trade for super fans and super traders out there. This could be the start of super moving into this new range to this 2.1 region. I wouldn't ape in on too much leverage. You can see the size of the stop here. So remember, if you have a 5% stop loss and you're running 10x leverage, you're going to get rinsed 50% if they come for you and they stop you out. So just remember, you times the size of your risk by the amount of leverage that you have. So leverage traders, that's why I always say we need to be super greedy with how we deal with these things. And I like to average about 2% to 3% for my stop, especially when I'm trading leverage. If I'm trading spot, obviously it matters less. You can go 10%, 15%, that sort of thing. It's not as dramatic. But, you know, leverage traders, you've got to be greedy with your entry. So just play it safe, play it tight. But you can see what might be transpiring here for super. Option 2, obviously, for them is that they could be just giving you a range. So we could be in a situation where they just kind of like do this kind of rangey thing for a while and, you know, just kill your patience while you wait. But you're going to be looking for something along these lines. So super, I'm a fan. 75% upside potentially right there for you. Wow. I just did an hour. Okay, I looked up at my clock now. I thought, okay, it's 40 minutes. I got to shut down. Guys, I've just smashed an hour. I'm going to be in so much trouble. If you like the content, please like and subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified. You know, and I'm here for you guys every day. We're trading this market. Don't forget Fridays, DGen days on Fridays. Big guest that we're trying to organize for this coming Friday. So it could be some good stuff happening. Guys, yeah, trade safe out there. I need to go. A question from Boris is music name. This is mixed by DJ David. He's a trader in Sniper Club with us. He's part of the Sniper team. He's a DJ, and he mixed this track for us because we're not allowed copyright music on YouTube. So he mixes our stuff for us. Okay, guys, got to go. That was fun, you know. Just got a little bit lost there in time, but we'll see you tomorrow.